Welcome everyone. You are listening to TALRadio, and this is me, RJ Saankhya, and I will be hosting the interview program for today. Touch a Life Foundation's mission is to bridge the gap between those in need with those who are willing to give. We leverage innovative technology to facilitate one-to-one connections between donors and donees on an easy-to-use digital platform for kindness. And I'm honored to announce that Foundation of Excellence is going to be a part of such beautiful motive today. The Foundation for Excellence was founded in 1994. It is a philanthropic foundation to provide scholarships to bright students with financial constraints for college fees. And FFE lifted many students from lives of limitations to lives that enjoy the benefits of strong education and professional careers. So, to guide us through learning more about FFE today, we have Mrs. Minoo Gupta on board, and she has been involved with FFE as board member since 2012 and its president since 2015. A very warm welcome to TALRadio, Mrs. Minoo Gupta. It's an honor to have you on board.
Thank you, Saankhya. This is really an honor and a privilege, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity that TALRadio is giving Foundation for Excellence to share their wonderful work. And, I'm really glad to be part of this event today. And I look forward to our discussion and, sharing a little bit about Foundation for Excellence, its mission, and how people may be able to help. So I'm really excited about the TALRadio and its mission, and also to be part of this journey.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. We are excited too, and thank you so much. So I would like to start with, what is the vision behind establishment of FFE?
Yeah, so Foundation for Excellence was founded in 1994, like you just mentioned. Yes. And it was started by Dr. Prabhu Goyal and his wife, Poonam Goyal. They are residents of Bay Area, and Prabhu had just sold his first company, and he decided that he was going to use part of those proceeds to build a philanthropic foundation to provide scholarships to bright students with financial constraints for college degrees. And his initial focus was medical and engineering degrees in India only, because these professional degrees have a high likelihood of transforming lives of bright students, not only lives of the students themselves, but really transforming the lives of the people the student or the families the student belongs to. So that's how it was started. And that was the mission. And he had a personal mission to make sure that we are able to support, or he personally is able to touch more than 10,000 students in his lifetime. So that was his entry criteria when he set up the foundation.
That's wonderful. So would you tell us a bit more about FFE and what are the works being done currently?
So today, Foundation for Excellence is a fairly large nonprofit, and we are focused on underprivileged students, like we talked about, and India. All the college students are in India. We are supporting medical students, engineering students, B pharmacy students, and also law students. Yeah. Today, we are planning in year 2021 and 2022 to be able to support more than 10,000 students all over India for the first time this year. And we are, truly excited about this because, as you can tell from the numbers, we have been in this non-profit business for almost 28 years. And initial years were trial and error years, where we were trying to figure out how to find the students that are needed to be supported. It was 1994, internet wasn't there, the cloud wasn't there. So finding students was a word of mouth journey. Yeah. But today, we are privileged and blessed to have the facilities and online communities who reach out to these underprivileged students, and they apply online, and then they get admission based on a very strict criteria that we have to ensure that only the most deserving students get this scholarship.
Absolutely. Yes. So, how was the journey of FFE so far? And also, we'd like to hear some success stories, if you may.
Absolutely. So the journey of FFE for the last 28 years has been a steady and slow but firm growth. In the
Yes.
last 3 or 4 years, we have really picked up the pace of increasing the number of students that we can support year over year. For example, last year we supported 7,500 students, and our team, the team that works deterministically and very, very hard in Bangalore, ensures that all of the donations we get in United States as well as India from individual donors or corporations are utilized 100% to support a deserving student. And they work on finding the students, they work on ensuring that the students are worthy of getting the scholarship, and making sure that they have all the support they need to be successful. So they stepped up to the plate and said that we will support extra 2,500 students this year. And they are very close to be able to realize this dream for the organization. So that's fantastic for us. But to answer your question, the growth has been steady. So last year we did 7,500 students. The year before we did 6,300 students. And the year prior to that we did 5,500 students. So as you can tell, it's a it's a steady growth year over year, where we aspire to take 1,000 or more students in addition to supporting the ongoing students, because engineering and medical degrees are degrees that take 4 or 5 years to graduate from. So you have to not only support the incoming students, but also support the students who are already in the program. So that is really where our journey is today, and we are looking to continue to grow the organization, and hope that with the support of many who are listening to us, or who find us through word of mouth, or the soft marketing that we do in the Bay Area and India, will get us more donors and supporters to continue to support this work.
In present scenario, what are the challenges that the foundation faces?
Any foundation which is relying on donations to support the network of students in a country which is remote from us, right?
Yes.
The nonprofits always have a challenge to find donors. So that is our first challenge. And then once we have the money, our next challenge is to deliver it to the scholars or students who are the most deserving. And connecting those two is always going to be our challenge. And we challenge ourselves by increasing the amount of students we take on year. But once the students are in our system, our goal is to make sure that every student is able to not only complete their degree, but is also qualified or well qualified to get a job. Because until the student has a job, they are not going to be able to change the trajectory of their future.
Exactly, yes.
So that is the game changer. So in order to ensure that students have jobs, we have put in a lot of soft skill and mentoring programs that enable the student, above and beyond the scholarship that they're getting, to be able to be qualified to get the job, and competitive to get the job, because they're going to be competing with people who have a lot more means in order to be able to make themselves competitive, make themselves ready. So that's always our big challenge. And in that journey, as we are increasing the number of students, we need not only donors, but we need mentors, we need partners to support in our soft skills program. So, the end-to-end program is always going to be very time consuming, and something that we need to keep track of year over year growth of every student. It's very easy to lose track of student if we are not keeping in touch with them year over year. So as our cohort increases, our demand on our team on the ground, which is Bangalore, increases as well. So ensuring that they have the resources and they are supported as well. That is that's an ongoing effort that we need to keep up with.
That's great. So, what are the future ambitions of the foundation? Though you may have partly answered this, but we'd like to listen to it.
Yes, future aspirations are multifold. One is to continue to be able to support the growth that we have put ourselves on, or the growth trajectory that we have put ourselves on, right? So, Dr. Prabhu Goyal started the organization hoping that he can support 10,000 students in his life. And, he's very, very proud, and so are all of us, that we'll be able to support 10,000 students in 1 year. I mean, that's phenomenal, right? I mean, the growth that the organization has seen. So we want to continue this growth trajectory and ensure that in the changing world, technology and infrastructure changes happen, very rapidly. So, and these students are professional and with professional degrees. Many times, a 4-year can, in 4 years, there can be a large amount of changes in technology. So the students coming out of these colleges not only have to learn whatever colleges are teaching them, but also have to keep up with the technology changes, the infrastructure changes, to be competitive and to stay ahead of the game. So our challenge is to make sure that the soft skills that they are getting, or we are giving them the opportunities, we not only do that, but we also teach them what it would take to keep up their skills and upskill themselves if they are not ready at that moment for whatever reason. And that is an ongoing challenge, because the ecosystem we live in, that is always going to have that cadence, that level of change. So how do you embrace that change, and how do you keep yourself available to learning? For example, you have to have a mindset of that this 4-year degrees is not the only learning an individual is going to do in their lifetime. So they have to be able to stay agile, stay on their feet, to look for opportunities and to grow themselves.
Yes, absolutely. So that's a really thoughtful, thing of the foundation. And what kind of support are you expecting from the donors and the society?
Our donors are the lifeline of any nonprofit work. Their generous giving, their generous heart, and their support is what makes any cause possible and its success. So we are, absolutely grateful for our current donors, and we hope that, we continue to build trust with them so that they are going to support us for a long time. So that is something we really embrace, and we also work on ensuring that we keep a close contact with them so that we have their continued support and trust going forward. We need to cultivate new donors in an ongoing fashion. So the organization, our board, our team in Bangalore works with partners and works with many organizations to drive that mission forward on an ongoing basis. So that is something we are always doing and aspiring to do.
Yeah, that's so great. So what do you think are the biggest barriers to students' growth, and how should the world tackle them? In your point of view, how should the world should be tackling them?
So I guess your question really is, how should students prepare themselves for the growth? I think students have to think of not only educating them for the degrees that they are getting, but also make themselves aware of the ecosystem that they are preparing themselves for. For example, a B Pharmacy student, they are doing their degree in B Pharma for 3 years, but when they graduate, they may come to a world where, there's a pandemic that is raging. So at that point, maybe their skills are in high demand, or maybe there is, a economic condition where they are not able to find a job. So what do they have to do at that point to make themselves viable to get a job? And that could be true for any degree, by the way. So being able to upskill themselves or reskill themselves or cross-skill themselves in adjacent skills to make themselves more competitive and make themselves more viable for the current economic conditions or current need of the societal infrastructure, platforms, or ecosystem that they are going into. They have to keep, abreast of the changes in that ecosystem.
Yeah. So personally, how fulfilling is this work for you?
So one of my core missions in life is to see that individuals who are underprivileged get the opportunity to educate themselves, because education opens doors. And I've seen that in my own life, and I've seen that in so many other people who graduated along with me, that once we had professional degrees, once we were capable of thinking, having critical thinking skills, and knowing how to approach problems and be able to solve problems, that gave us an opportunity to do good work and bring ourselves to be useful to the society in many, many different ways. So once education gives us that opportunity, we have to be able to leverage it. So there are many people in India, and just because of the economic conditions, there are many people in India who are still not able to afford this education. So enabling as many people as possible through our work is one of my passions and one of my drives to continue to support the organization and enable the programs that we have.
So it sounds that it's pretty much very fulfilling to you, being in this foundation.
Yes, absolutely.
So may we know what is your inspiration behind the social work, or who exactly is your inspiration for this?
That's a good question. The biggest inspiration, of course, is Dr. Prabhu Goyal, who started the foundation, and he continues to be very involved in the organization and leads the organization with his heart and soul. And he inspires us because, something he's not only created, but wants to see thriving consistently, right? So that he's the biggest hero for us, or us, and we look up to him, and he aspires us to not only bring ourselves to the cause, but also give with an unconditional care or drive. So that really is one of our aspirations. And other aspiration for me is my own family, my father and parents and my siblings, who some got the opportunities to do study well, but some were not able to study well due to health conditions and others. So I know how difficult it is to educate oneself and to be successful in life. So that's another aspiration that I have.
Yeah, absolutely. We got it. And could you tell us a little bit more about your CSR associations and its acts?
So a lot of two ways to answer that question. So when we say CSR, it's corporate social responsibility. And a lot of the organizations have different programs to support that responsibility. For example, many of the organizations in the US have donor matching programs. So if I, as a professional, am donating through my company, my company may be able to match those dollars to dollar figure. So that is a way for the organization to support the CSR initiative. And in India, since the beneficiaries, which is our scholars, go back to the society and they work for many of the corporations, those corporations actually see the direct benefit of supporting these scholars. So in India, not only are we able to leverage the corporate donation match programs, but many of the corporations actually step up and adopt scholars directly. And this helps us not only build a strong bond with the corporation, but the corporation at the end of the 4 year can also be a beneficiary for supporting the scholars, and they may be able to hire some of the scholars and absorb some of those scholars as their employees. So it's a cycle that continues throughout the journey of our support with the CSR work.
Yeah, So it actually speaks volumes of how good the foundation have been doing, right?
Our partners are probably better equipped to tell us that, but their continued support means a lot to us, and that's a testament to the fact that they trust us and continue to support us year after year.
Yes, absolutely. So finally, since we have reached to the end of the interview, I'd like to know what message would you like to give to the youngsters and aspirers today?
Yeah. So, and this is a radio program, and we probably have a wide age group of people who are listening to this conversation. So, what my thought for them would be that make sure you take advantage of all the opportunities that are available to you. And many of you are probably have been born in a privileged and happy setup. So if you have the opportunity to educate yourself, or have the opportunity to create and learn hobbies for yourself, or travel, or just enjoy watching music and dancing, make sure you take full advantage of doing the things that you are given a choice. And once you are able to get all of that knowledge, whether it's self-knowledge or whether it's aspirational knowledge, make sure you utilize that well. And when you are in a capacity to support somebody else who's able to or not able to provide for themselves or himself, reach out to them and become a part of an organization such as TAL or Foundation for Excellence or any other cause that is near and dear to you, and help somebody else as well.
So that's a very beautiful message. And so we're done with the interview, and it's been a wonderful interview, ma'am. And I'm sure that our listeners had a great time learning about such amazing foundation. And thanks a lot, Mrs. Minoo Gupta, for the talk.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and hope some of the listeners will go to our website, ffe.org, and learn a little more about the organization and the work we are doing. So thank you.
Sure, they are going to do that for sure, since you have told us. So yeah, TALRadio is really honored to have you today, and we are very thankful for this interview.
Thank you.
That's it, listeners. I hope you had a great time listening to it. Stay tuned to TALRadio for more such insightful talks. And until next time, this is me, RJ Saankhya, signing off. Take care.